And the reason she's here today is Karina put a post online, must be about 2-3 weeks ago now, in which she was commenting about how challenging it can be if you're an attractive person. What motivated or inspired you to put that post up 3 weeks ago?
We have a PR company that works with me. I'm not joking, but like 1 out of 3 people that actually approach me on LinkedIn are asking me if I'm single or are trying to hit on me.
Because you wrote in it, despite my academic achievements, career trajectory, and the fact I speak 5 languages, I've been judged on my looks and not my abilities.
Beauty can have, it's like a double-edged sword, right?
I know.
Right now, it's unfortunate, but I do believe that the desire for sex actually rules so much of our society.
Now this could be a PR nightmare for you, so you have to think carefully how you answer this question. Hi everybody, it's Benjamin, the UK's most hated sales trainer, back with another episode of Talking Bollocks. TB or not TB, you decide. Well, today I have a really special guest, and I've in fact been really looking forward to this conversation because I think a lot of us are interested in hearing the other side. So today my guest, and I'm going to say hats off to her for being such a good sport and participant, because a lot of people would have said no to my request. But I decided to invite Carina Cunha onto the show. Hello, Karina.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Well, look, it's a real pleasure to have you here today. And for those of you watching, if you don't recognize Karina, have a look on LinkedIn, look at her name, and you will see her. And the reason she's here today is Karina put a post online, must be about 2-3 weeks ago now, in which she was commenting about how challenging it can be if you're an attractive person, a woman in her case, let's not be generic, an attractive woman, and people always saying to you that your success has come down solely to your looks, and how that can be frustrating and challenging. Now, obviously, this post was accompanied with a picture of her looking very good, and it generated a lot of comments, some very cruel, some supportive, some undecided and in between. So rather than do a spoof sort of response to her post, as I've done in the past, I decided I would reach out to Karina and get her side of the story and have her explain. And I want to let you know, Karina, that when I let people know I was going to be doing this interview, so many were really impressed with the fact that you had decided to come on the show. And I deep down suspect a lot of people are rooting for you in this conversation because they want to hear your side of the story. So let's begin. First of all, I want to ask you about the specific post itself. What motivated or inspired you to put that post up 3 weeks ago? Something must have happened. What was it that triggered you feeling you had to go out and tell the world, how challenging it is being attractive and being...
I will not say that. That's usually like what I think about posting on LinkedIn. First of all, but even before we start there, like honestly, it's just so much fun being in the podcast with you. So like I would be an idiot not being able to like actually respond. So thank you for inviting me. And so basically, we are launching Satori, which is my company for which is actually a self-actualization platform. I have had a very traumatic life, which a lot of people are going to be like, bullshit, she's good looking, like there is no way that you can have trauma. But I did. I had a lot of physical issues happen to me where I lived in hospitals when I was young, very traumatic divorce with my parents. You guys can read my story in my blog. And the thing is that it led me to a lot of suffering in my life where I tried to commit suicide. I was very careless with my life, and psychedelics basically saved my life. So I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for actually finding psychedelics, because I have tried every single antidepressant in the market, was in care of doctors that just made me feel worse for many years. And once I tried psychedelics, it was a long journey to recovery, but I actually am one of the happiest human beings that I have that I know. And that has been because of that brutal self-honesty of learning how to heal from trauma, and also the power of psychedelics to actually give you that deeper insight. So being a founder of a previous health tech startup, once the market for psychedelics started opening up, I just needed to jump because I have been through that process myself. And I wanted to give people access to the same type of level and care that I wish I had when I started my journey with psychedelics maybe like 8 years ago. And so that's what Satori does, is almost like a concierge service to connect you with the right psychedelic retreats that are legal, fully vetted, and then connect you with the right integration therapy. Because a lot of people don't realize that psychedelics is not just a silver bullet, like you can have that experience, but for you to actually make change in your life, you need to actually make change in your life when you come back. And that's what the coach does. And so the integration coach almost serves as like an external brain for you while you're making those changes in habit, and you learn to embody the lessons that you actually learned during psychedelics. So that's my mission, and that's why I started becoming vocal.
A post though.
Yeah, exactly. So the post, we have a PR company that works with me, and we dissected different parts of my story that would be interesting for us to discuss with people. And one of them was my beauty, because it's, like, it's just something rare, I guess, for you to have, like high cognitive abilities and also be a beautiful woman and also be on psychedelics. So I think that that was just something that needed to be addressed, because it has been an issue throughout my life. I mean, like, I'm not joking, but like 1 out of 3 people that actually approach me on LinkedIn are asking me if I'm single or are trying to hit on me. Like with my previous company, I would have so many people tell me that they wanted to give me investment to then just invite me on trying to go on a date. And it would just like, it's actually really draining. And so it wasn't supposed to be like, sorry me or something, but it's more to just raise awareness that that type of like unexcusable behavior is actually happening as well, from like sometimes from men actually using your interest in your work to try to sneak their way into it, and also use your beauty as a way of degrading your actual achievements because of their own insecurity. So that was kind of the angle, but it's LinkedIn is a short platform. You cannot really like create the entire nuance of that and create content that goes viral. So at least we started a dialogue.
You certainly did, yeah. So because you wrote in it, despite my academic achievements, career trajectory, and the fact I speak 5 languages, I've been judged on my looks and not my abilities. So can I ask, a lot of your posts, I went over the last 10, and half of them include pictures of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that, are you consciously using your beauty to help promote yourself, or
yes, of course, I'm using it now. So just let me just put it this way, just because at an instance in my life, like beauty can have, it's like a double-edged sword, right? So
I know.
Right now, like it can be super draining to have these people talking to me and like getting messages sent like, are you single? And then I get from like a potential investor. But then at the same time, I understand that this dichotomy that there is right now of that we create almost, what is the word, like a bit uncomfortable feeling on people. And when you create that discomfort, it's almost like a tick with music where it like sticks in your head. And that's what we are trying to do with some of my posts, because this is actually something that is just not traditional. Like a lot of the pictures that I'm posting are actually pictures of my day-to-day life. And I think it's about bringing some of that personality there. And part of my personality is the fact that I'm a beautiful woman, and also an intelligent woman. So I'm not hiding from that. Yeah. So it's just about like trying to bring like that brutal honesty that I actually carry in my life into LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think your beauty has on occasions enabled you to have a leg up, where say you're against someone who's equally able but not as attractive? Do you think that having that has given you an edge in some situation? Not every situation, but do you think it helps you? I mean, I think objectively people know, of course, if you had to choose between two people with ability and one was not as pretty,
yeah. I will say that I'm not going to be the best person to judge that, because I'm not a good observer, because I was involved in the situation. So I'm going to be a biased observer, right? So in that sense, you know, like just thinking about life, symmetry is attractive to people. So there will be instances that totally benefited me, and there will be instances that didn't. The question is not whether it has benefited me or not. In that post, what I was saying is that people, because I'm pretty, people feel the right to degrade my work. So I think that those are totally different arguments here.
Yes, I can see that. I can see that. Okay, so do you what would you say then to someone that says, "Oh, poor Karina, it must be tough for her," and then they have a go at you? What would you say to those people, your critics? If because there were a lot on the post, what would you say to them if you could meet them face to face? Because everyone's brave behind the, their keyboard, right? What would you say to them if you got someone face to face who'd put one of those nasty comments? What would you say to them?
Like, get a life. I mean, for real. Like, I mean, thank you for making my post go viral. You really helped the metrics, and so you're actually helping me out. So great job, guys. But the thing is that the reason why I'm having successful in my life is because I actually do shit rather than be a keyboard warrior. And in that sense, it's like, I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. Actually, my message is a message of empowerment, and it's a message of radical honesty, and just being true to yourself and being authentic. And I will own my beauty, I will own my intelligence, and I will embody that and show that to the world, rather than have to feel that I need to be apologetic because somebody else feels offended because they have their own issues to work through. So that's basically it. So I'm like, guys, if you are feeling some type of emotion towards my post right now, which has nothing to do with you, you really need to actually put a mirror to yourself. Not, I mean, like, not just on the physical sense, maybe like actually on the internal sense, and see like what is driving that in you. Like what do you need to work on? And maybe then you come to Satori, take some psychedelics, and you do some integration therapy, and we actually get you to that happy place.
Okay. So I was looking at some of your posts as well, and there is a direct correlation between the amount of engagement where you've put a picture of yourself and the posts where you don't.
Yep.
So I'm assuming, therefore, that you're fully aware of this and you use your looks in to create the engagement.
Yeah, I mean, I have a PR agency that is helping me with this, and they are the ones that choose the pictures. It's great. Like, we have sessions that we work through. The content is all stuff that I write, but the pictures that are selected are things that have been statistically shown to actually drive engagement. And what we're trying to do is that we're trying to drive engagement because we have a mission of something that we want to speak about that is way more important than, whatever my ego of like putting a picture up. Before Satori, I never really made posts like this. Like, you would never see me posting a picture, but I'm doing this because we're trying to raise awareness we are creating a personal brand for me because we're trying to raise awareness to the mission of Satori. If it was for myself, would never be seeing like posts of myself on LinkedIn like that.
So there's a real trend, it seems, nowadays, as a result of social media, for people to people post very personal things.
Mm.
They like to open up, and this is go vulnerable and show all of this, right? Now, some could say there's a therapeutic sense to it, but a lot of people look at it quite cynically,
Mhm.
and say, well, wow, you're using a victim story,
Yeah.
try and make yourself more appealing to mask the fact that you're probably doing quite well, and then you get to complain. So what would you say to people that say, this is all well and good, but I mean, it's a bit self-indulgent, it's a bit narcissistic? What would you say to people like that? What's your response?
Yeah, I do actually believe that victimhood is quite narcissistic, and I actually wrote an article exploring the different types of narcissism, because there are 4 different types. So you have grandiose, malignant, covert, and communal narcissist. And a lot of victims actually fall under the spectrum of a covert narcissism. And it's really hard to spot, because you usually associate narcissists with grandiose narcissists, but and I personally got into relationships with covert narcissists because you start trying to save them, right? And so I think that that's actually fascinating, and I totally agree, because being a victim actually makes you feel like you're the center of attention, or at least try to drive attention, but like, rather than because you did something good, is because you're suffering, or poor you. And so, yeah, totally agree with that. I think that my post personally wasn't a post of being a victim. It was a post that I'm kicking ass, like, so. And the whole thing about being narcissistic, I think that I hate fake humbleness. Like, I feel that so many people are like, oh yeah, you have to be humble. And it's just like, what the fuck? Like, I think I'm great because I have achieved a lot of great things. I know that I have done, that I have the competency to keep on achieving great things, because what I believe is that excellence is not an act, it's a habit. So if you continuously keep on doing great things, you should feel proud of the great things that you have done. And that, for me, is just like a lifestyle. It's just who I am. And so if I don't own to that, in order to just have somebody else feel comfortable because I'm trying to meet some type of random expectation that that person that doesn't have any influence in my life needs to have, it's just something I'm not going to do. And that type of message, for me, is actually quite important to be shared, because I see so many people trying to fit into other people's needs in society without allowing themselves to authentically be themselves. One of the things that actually I was speaking to someone yesterday, a friend was like, oh yeah, I feel bad that I want people to like me, that I do things for them and I want people to like me. And I was like, why do you feel bad about that? Like, that's human, like, we are allowed to want people to like us. We are allowed to feel upset. A lot of times people say, like, I shouldn't be upset because I'm in a better situation than these kids dying in Africa. And I'm like, their suffering doesn't invalidate your suffering. There is no like scale that you should be measuring stuff against, like, everyone has needs that are intrinsically human, and owning up to the fact that these exist within you is super healthy. And somehow people just try to fit criteria that were set up by other people, which pisses me off.
Now this could be a PR nightmare for you, so you have to think carefully how you answer this question.
We interrupt this broadcast with a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Benjamin, the UK's most hated sales trainer. I want to take a few seconds to talk to you about an upcoming bootcamp, my very popular Questioning Strategies bootcamp. In this bootcamp, you will learn how, when, and what sort of questions to ask. Most salespeople ask crappy questions in a crappy way at the wrong time, and they have a tendency to upset or annoy their prospects. I'm going to show you how to ask the right questions, how to structure them, and how to ask questions that will stop you appearing like you're cross-examining them. It is a true art, a true skill, and it is the hallmark of a professional salesman. So visit my website, uksmosthatedSalesTrainer.com, and look under the Questioning Strategies Bootcamp tab. See you there.
again, I was looking through the posts and I just did a quick count up, and you had to put up a post today, and I checked it at 1 o'clock, and you had 122 likes. And of that, just over 100 were all men, 20 were women. How does that make you feel, knowing that that's the ratio to work? Yeah, I'm just interested because I went through another one as well, 390 likes, 2/3 male. And then, just interested in your thought on that.
That makes sense for a few reasons. One, when you actually think about humans, the thing that evolutionarily we have been designed to do, that is the most intrinsic thing within our bodies, is to procreate, right? Survival of the fittest, passing down your genes. So it's unfortunate, but I do believe that the desire for sex actually rules so much of our society. And in a way, like actually the desire for power is just a way for you to get sex for a lot of men when you actually think about evolutionary psychology. So I wouldn't be surprised that that driver is actually stronger than the driver of a woman being like connected to a message in my post, because it's literally on their DNA. Because
it's fascinating, because I looked at your post today, and again, there's a lovely picture of you standing on a bridge. And I was thinking, if I was sitting next to my wife and I liked this post, and my wife said, "Why are you liking this post?" And I think the content's good. My wife would say, "Whatever. It's got nothing to do with the content. Is it not the woman you're ticking the like for?" And then if I said, "No, it's the railings on the bridge. I didn't even notice she was standing there," it wouldn't be believed. So, and you are right. You are. So you are consciously aware, and you. And again, I have no.
I would just like to add that you guys need to have a discussion as a couple as well, because that type of like mistrust in a relationship is actually quite not very healthy. Like if I was with a partner and they liked a picture of a beautiful woman, and it was like, let's say, a gym workout person, and they are posting great content, and there are some that are great pretty much on Instagram, I would just have the security in myself that whoever I'm with in a relationship is with me because they want to be with me, and whatever happens independent outside of the relationship has no effect. So I would say, like, maybe you guys want to come to one of our retreats, some MDMA therapy.
I love the fact you're always selling. I like that. That's great. That's wonderful. Hey, a couple more questions and I'll let you go, because I think this has been a fascinating conversation. Do you think, say it was reversed, you didn't have your looks, do you think people could talk to you or approach you or say things about your appearance that you couldn't say to someone? See, you can't go up to someone and say, "Man, you're ugly." That's not done, but I suspect people tell you more even unasked for. I suspect people say things to you unprovoked, you sort of unsolicited, which, because of your looks, they feel almost gives them. Do you feel people feel they have a sense of entitlement when they see someone as pretty as you to be able to come up to you and say, "Gosh," which in the real is kind. I can understand why that would. Yeah,
that was the point of the post, is because I'm pretty, then that becomes the only thing that I am.
Yes.
So that's the thing, like I graduated an Ivy League like in 3 years by overloading my course schedule, learning Mandarin at the same time. Like I was 20, and my intelligence for me is actually the part that is most important and distinct in my life. Yeah. But people are going to because they see the cover of the book, they are just going to ignore what's inside. Actually, this is a good t-shirt for that. But what I mean is that it's not, I think that anything is extremely nuanced, and then if you get a point, you can dissect it in whatever way and then try to say that a person is saying this or that. But what I was trying to do with the post is really say that if you are somebody that is beautiful, you are going to have that try to be used against you and sometimes disregard of the other assets. And that's something I have experienced. And I think that a lot of women experience that, even if they are not that attractive. I have found so many times coworkers of mine that get put down by male colleagues by saying that they only got their job because whoever finds them attractive. And I think that like interdynamic power play is actually quite prevalent in the workplace, because I find that a lot of times when people feel threatened, they attack.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate, but it is a trend that happens with women at work.
And last question then, because you've been very generous with your time and I appreciate it. What advice then would you give to any young lady going about using LinkedIn, using social media to promote themselves, and they're blessed with the benefit of beauty? What advice, looking back on your experience, and if anyone hasn't read her blog, I would suggest go read it because it is quite in depth, and I'll put a link in this podcast for people to go read it. What advice would you give to these younger ladies?
Yeah, I think that beauty is only going to, like get people to look at you, but people are going to stick with you if you have depth and substance. And I think that, yeah, like, I'm sharing stuff right now because I have lived a life of so much trauma and so much personal work, and I feel that there is a mission of authenticity that I need to share with the world, and that's really what my content brings. Authenticity and empowerment and brutal honesty, because I find that society is so full of bullshit that we need to bring it out. And I think that as long as you are honest to your true self, not actually fake honest where you're like lying to yourself, but like if you find alignment within your core and you're being real, people will connect with that. And I find that we are really missing that. And unfortunate, LinkedIn, it is a lot of places where you have the fake humble brag. So, like, just be real, just own stuff. Much better to own it than be fake humble.
All right. And what would you say to the ugly people? It's a tough one. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think that, to be honest, I would say that I'm not a qualified person to give advice, yeah, I would say not to the ugly people, because I don't know what it's like to do that. And so I cannot sit on a high horse and say that I know how they experience life. And so anything that I share will be incorrect or invalid. And so I'm not going to go there. What I can say is that whenever you have a weakness in some area, it's about working the other areas to support that. And if you find that your looks is a weakness of yours, there is ways that you can strengthen that. And for me, for example, like I'm a personality type that is extremely rational. For people that care about Myers-Briggs, I'm a INTJ, Enneagram 8, Wing 7 for psychology nerds.
Right.
But what?
It was Myers-Briggs, isn't it? The ITNJ, is that Myers?
Yeah, but actually I don't like Myers-Briggs. I really hate the test. I love the cognitive functions from Carl Jung. I'll be writing posts about that, by the way. But one of the things that is my weakness naturally was just being able to connect with feelings. And so I then went and did a master's in psychology to better understand frameworks, to understand feelings through a way that I could get. So I don't know, if someone doesn't feel that their looks suit them, there is things that you can do for the clothes that you wear, from the way that you carry yourself, from building some type of passion that you show to the world. Like there are so many musicians that I hear them sing and I'm like, I'm already in love with that voice or how you play the guitars. Doesn't matter how you look. If you're really good at something and you bring that can be super attractive.
Okay, that's a fair point. And last question, if you could trade your beauty for one other thing, what would it be? If you had to trade it, what would you want in place of it?
Yeah, so I would like to never die.
Okay.
I would say that one of my goals in life, which is gonna sound crazy, but I already do psychedelics and I have pink hair right now and an alien tattoo, so whatever, is that I want to find a way that we can upload consciousness, because I believe that, you know, if you actually look at E equals MC squared, when you actually think about traveling through interspace, if you have mass, you are going to have an unlimited amount of energy that is going to require for you to move anything with mass beyond space-time. But if you don't have mass, you therefore are not moving through time or space-time, and you don't require that amount of energy. And so that actually means that you could be functioning on the fourth dimension, which is time, without having to actually be set to be going on it linearly. You could actually move in any direction. And so that's one of the reasons why I think that Elon Musk is doing it completely wrong by trying to physically go to the moon. And instead, we should be really focusing on how do we extract consciousness so we can be functioning through space-time without mass, because it's just a lot more efficient.
You know, it's funny because as you were saying that, I was saying to myself, if Elon Musk is watching this, this is the sort of thing that he should be investing in, because he's exactly the kind of guy that would find this fascinating. So that's really cool. That's a really good point to end on. So we'll wrap it up. If people, obviously LinkedIn, they can find you. If people want to find you, people want to reach out to you, and obviously, folks, only reach out if you got something nice or decent to say. This is
don't ask me on dates either, guys. Like,
don't ask her.
I'm not interested. Like, I'm building my empire. I'm busy. Like,
but yeah, so yeah, no dickheads, please. No tossers or whatever contacting her. But if someone did want to reach out to you because they genuinely are interested in what you do and whether or not they can work with you, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, of course. So right now, I am, if you search on Instagram at I am Carina Cunha is my handle. You can, if you're interested to learn more about what Satori does, Satori is SATORI.health. So if you just look for a website, you want to explore more about psychedelics, you can just fill out a form there. And then I will be creating a YouTube channel soon. It's something that I actually have wanted to do for years. Okay. And I just never had like a topic that I cared as much about as I do now, which is bringing that brutal authenticity and empowerment. So as soon as I'm done with my fundraise next month, I will start working on that content to be out for you guys. And yeah, you can also search my website, karinacunha.com, but it just pretty much has the links to everything else.
Fine. Well, I'll include all of these links, guys, in the comment box, whatever it is, on YouTube and whatnot, so you'll be able to find it. So, Karina, I just want to say thank you very much. I think you've been a really good sport. I think you've answered the questions well. It's up to the audience, though, because this is Talking Bollocks, TB or not TB, you decide. So it is down to you, the viewer. Do you feel that Karina has validly put her position on what it's like to be an attractive person and to be judged solely on that? Or do you think, I don't agree with anything, I think she's got it easy? It's, again, we can't make you think one way or the other. You're going to make up your own opinion. But I just want to say thank you. I think it was really good of you to agree to do this. I think it was quite brave, because I don't know, I could have been a complete bastard, right, and just tried to be horrible. But I didn't.
If you were a bastard, I can shoot fires back. It would have been like a nice little war there. So sometimes it's fun. I actually enjoy replying to bastard comments on LinkedIn, because it can just show how bad their logic process is. And it's so fun. Like, I actually had it was time consuming, but I was just like, do you understand your incongruency in thought here? So you're actually making yourself stupid by saying those things. But anyway, sorry.
Anyway, no, it's fine. So look, everybody, we're going to have to wrap it up there. We're going to have to let Karina go. Like I said, I think it's been fun. It's been a good interview. This is obviously, without doubt, going to be the prettiest interview podcast on the internet with Karina, obviously, and myself. As we all know, I am one of the beautiful people, folks, and that is how I market myself. So, look, I just want to thank Karina, and to everybody who's watched this, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave comments, but don't be nasty. Yeah, if you're going to make a point, try and make it legitimately. Don't just be a dick. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, and we'll see you on the next podcast.